as we continue with the Superfan shows, we're proud to bring you a man. We heard that Sasquatch searches for him. We've heard Bigfoot calls trying to mimic his voice. The man that knows all the history, misery, and intrigue there is ever known to be in the Bigfoot world. He doesn't drink beer, but he does watch the SLP. He's the most interesting Bigfoot guy in Canada. That's right. We're bringing to you tonight Mr. Cameron Young. And we're talking the top 5 Bigfoot researchers and hoaxers of all time. So sit back in your chair right now because we're going to have us a great show. With me, I am the host of this mess. That's right. I am the Reverend Jeff Kelly. And with me, as I said, is Mr. Cameron Young. Yay! How you doing, man?
Good. I'm pleasure to be here.
That's right.
I've hit the big time.
He's hit the big time, folks. He's co-hosting the Squatchers Lounge podcast. That's right. Now, Cameron is a Canadian, so if you pick up a little bit of an accent there, you might think it's from Canada. No, we love our friends from Canada. You know, Canada's like America's hat. Everything that you guys do for us out there. All right, let's go ahead and get it started. This time of the night, we usually do get a little newsy, so let's get a little newsy with it. There is not a giant amount of news. Hey, if you haven't been out to the Squatchers Lounge podcast YouTube channel direct, there's a whole bunch of new content out there for you. 3, 4, 5 Bigfoot campfire stories in the last couple of weeks. They're just firing right out the door. So get out there, and the truck hits Bigfoot on I-70. Thumbs up that one. Do it. There's a battle. It's like 429 thumbs up to 431 thumbs down, and I need a bunch more thumbs up on it. So this one right here that says truck hits Bigfoot on I-70, click on that one and give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Back to the news it's going to be. That's right. A mammoth discovery. PBS.org. Could this be true? Yeah, actually it is. The bones of a massive mammoth raised last year from Michigan's farmer field may harbor evidence of the earliest traces of humans in the Americas. That's right. So right in the middle of Michigan. I remember now Michigan's up there by the Great Lakes. The Vikings could have discovered the Great Lakes at some point long before old Christopher Columbus came over here and took a bunch of natives hostage. Anyhow, over the decades, the bones of around 30 mammoths and 300 mastodons have been pulled from the state's farm fields and construction sites. These iconic giants browsed on a vast open grasslands in wooded valleys south of the ice sheets that buried much of Canada. Oh, poor Cameron, you guys were buried in ice at that time. And the northern U.S.
We're used to it.
Say some 25,000 years ago. Good, great article. What do you think about that, man? Do you guys find like mammoth bones and stuff up there in Canada still?
Oh yeah, well down south we got the Tyrrell Museum, which is one of the largest bone findings for dinosaurs in northern North America, to be quite honest, from what I heard. I could be wrong, but I know it might be Canada. It might be the largest, but it's very popular for finding, like stuff just like that. Mostly dinosaurs. Mostly dinosaurs, though. That's why they call it the Southern Badlands.
The Southern Badlands. That's very neat. All right, let's move it right along here. 2 mooses found frozen. Mooses? Moose. Meese?
Yeah.
Mices? 2 moose found frozen. This is not moose and squirrel. Found frozen mid-fight near a remote Alaskan village. Dude, can you imagine how epic this would have been? You win. You're the moose that wins. You literally snap old boy's neck to win. You're now in charge of the herd. Crap, you can't let go.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you drowned.
Serious shrinkage, so you wouldn't be able to do much mating anyways.
Oh, dude, I couldn't imagine. Well, they live on the inside of the body anyhow, so they're shrunk all the time. 2 moose were recently discovered frozen in a battle and encased in ice near a remote village in Alaska's unforgiving western coast. Brad Webster, a middle school social science studies and science teacher in forget it. In that place.
Which one are you trying to read?
You know, like Yeah, in that place.
Move on.
Mhm. Captured images of the massive animals poking through the ice as they lay on their sides with antlers apparently locked together. And them things are there till spring. They ain't going no place. You know where they're going?
No.
Nowhere. Go.
What
Their
I
meat,
would be doing is taking a
they
saw
can
and
get to them.
chopping
They
off
are
them
just.
antlers there.
Well, you'd have to wait till springtime to get them, but they're just moose antlers. I mean, that's like having a pair of flip flops. Everybody's seen them.
Yeah.
NewYorkUpstate.com. That's right. Hunter hits a world-class buck with his truck on the way home. Dude, we hunt for something like this in the wild our entire lives. Dude, I would so poke a hole in that thing and eat him and put that rack on my maul like you wouldn't believe. But apparently now they've got to wait for it to dry out and finish all this other stuff before they can actually measure it.
Yeah, that's what I was reading, that the butcher there, like one of the pictures down below has the guy covered in blood, and the antlers are just monstrous. I mean, we have some pretty big deer in Alberta and Saskatchewan and Manitoba, but I've never seen anything like that. Even out living 25 years out in an acreage, I've never seen a deer that big.
Yeah, no, that's just a monster of a trophy right there. I mean, you eat him, but you definitely mount him because that's some perfection right there. Right?
That's going
that
right
guy
over the
will
fireplace.
be missed.
It will go real. It'll go real nice with my bear rug.
Yeah, exactly. Right in front of the fireplace, hanging out over top of the mantle. All right, CNN.com tells us that a man dissolves in acidic water after he falls into a Yellowstone hot spring. Now, you would want to feel sorry for this guy.
Yeah.
You really would want to feel sorry for this guy, but read on. A trip to one of the nation's natural wonders ended in an unnatural tragedy. A 23-year-old Oregon man essentially dissolved inside a hot spring at Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming after he accidentally. Oh, about that. That's questionable. The bizarre incident happened back in June when Colin Nathaniel Scott went to the park with his sister to find a place to hot pot. Yeah, that's not sitting around and smoking a doobie with your sister somewhere inside the park. No, that's where they go and look for hot springs to use as a jacuzzi, knowing that you're not supposed to be in any of the hot springs. So, play with fire, eventually you're gonna get burnt. Is that what happened here? I don't know. It's a sad story, but he played with danger his entire life, and he, instead of choosing a hot pot, he fell into a pool of acid. And so
I just don't know what would make somebody want to do that. Like it's like when you boil a pot of water, not to stick your hand in it.
I'm totally with you there. Common sense tells you, oh, no, we're from here. We do this all the time. Don't you worry about it. How many people have ever died doing it? That's usually a question I ask my friends. Hey, you want to go cow tipping? Well, the first question I have is how many people have ever died cow tipping? None. But if it's, if the number's higher than 2 or 3, I'm probably not down for cow tipping. That's just one of those things. So check out the article on CNN.com. Food diggity. Ooh. That's right. Behold the Klaturkey, an octopus stuffed in a turkey with crab legs. Nom, nom. And you have to cut the octopus's head off right before you stuff it into the turkey so that the tentacles are still moving when you serve it to the table.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, baby. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
We already had our Thanksgiving, so I'm good. I'll pass.
Would you eat it?
Hell no.
I don't think I'm eating octopus, but I
like my Alberta. I like my Alberta beef and Saskatchewan pancakes. Thank you very much.
Saskatchewan pancakes, don't you know? Eh? So here's an update for you. You remember that video of the polar bear petting the dog?
That was
they're so affectionate, so cute. Went viral. Everybody was wondering about. Yeah, well, guess what? Polar bears came back together and ate one of them damn dogs. The Manitoba conservation officers removed 3 polar bears from the dog sanctuary near Churchill, Manitoba, after one of the bears attacked and killed a dog. So yeah, it's all fun and games until the hungry bear comes by, and then it ain't quite so cute, and it ain't all pretty on Facebook because ain't nobody post a dog getting eat to YouTube now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Careful what you wish for. Nature's a bitch. All right, let's wrap this in. Getting down to the nitty gritty stuff of this tonight. Killing Bigfoot.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me.
No. Killing Bigfoot. The new series begins airing on Destination America February 4th, 2017. The wait is over. The most original, thought-provoking Bigfoot production on television, Killing Bigfoot, the Gulf Coast Bigfoot Research Organization, as they respond to the call of large, aggressive, ape-like creatures attacking people's homes. Sure sounds like mountain monsters to me. But
yeah, that's
Now this isn't anything new because Cameron, you guys already saw this season, right?
Yeah, I PVR'd it and I thought, okay, I'll wait till the series is over so I can watch them all in order. I got through maybe about 2 episodes and I just deleted the rest of them. It's just terrible. Like these guys aren't even researchers, for Christ's sake. Like it's just poor. If you guys think Finding Bigfoot's bad, this is worse. I wouldn't even give this the time of day. I wouldn't even watch it anymore. It's so staged, and that girl's wearing too much makeup. And you know what? But the thing is, you see the guy with the target on his chest?
Yeah.
He's supposedly the leader. But the guy to the right of him, I thought I saw him on an actual documentary at one time, Mysterious Encounters, doing his report. So I recognized that guy right away. I haven't seen the other guys, but yeah, like I said, I watched it for 2 episodes, and I'm like, yeah, this is stupid. I'd rather watch reruns of Finding Bigfoot.
Well, there you have it. From somebody who's already seen the season, I don't think they kill shit. Moving right along.
They don't. Well, he actually shot one of his team members by accident almost.
Oh, God. Who is he? Cheney? Sadly, Lauren Coleman, the curator of the Cryptozoology Museum in Portland, Maine, dude's just asking for a little bit of help. He's got some medical bills that are just beating the absolute crap out of him. And we know that we love people in the cryptozoology world, especially guys who run museums. They don't get paid for that. That's not something he makes any money on, but yet he keeps the doors open and keeps a building with all this stuff in it for crazy ass people like me and you. So if you got a couple of extra bucks that you can spare, fund and help Lauren out a little bit, man. We love you. Hope you get better. He's in the hospital again. Like he's just literally out of recovery, like right now. So God bless you, man. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And if anybody out there can donate a buck or two, please do. I'm sure he'd be very appreciative of it. He's a proud man. He didn't want to ask for anything, but sometimes you have to do it. All right, so we're back to the Squatchers Lounge podcast YouTube channel once again. Bigfoot discovered by mother and son on a trail ride in Ohio. That's right. That one's quickly burning up the views, man. They are all good, and I am happy that you guys are enjoying them. So with that, let's move on out of the news podcast tonight. Wow, that's right. This whole new sharing thing is all kind of wacky and wonky, but we're getting used to it. That's for sure. Hey, you know what time it is, Cameron?
Time for the shutouts.
No. You're just one little bit ahead of us. That's right. It's time for a little bit of camping tips for stupid.
Yes.
So that's right from our buddy Jevin Moore. So let's get the tip of the week going here. There we are.
Camping tips for stupids. Tip number 25. This is poison sumac. This is poison oak. And this is poison ivy. Watch what you wipe your ass with out there, people. This has been Camping Tips for Stupids. Remember to spay and neuter your idiot population.
Well, there you have it from Jevin. Watch what you wipe your ass out there with people. Yes, now it's time for shout outs.
Guilty.
I don't wipe my butt with leaves. I stop and buy a 4-pack of Angel Soft every time because it's the most easiest for the woods to digest, and it always gets buried. It's white. There's no scent. There's no colors to it. It's just plain white. As soon as it rains, it just kind of goes into nothingness. That's right. Angel Soft is the best thing for the woods. Don't use anything else. If you're going to leave it out there, at least use something that the woods can digest.
I'm not too sure if I want to use something quick. I don't want to beat the clock in the thicket, But
right, exactly. I want to be able to, especially because sometimes I get the runs at the high altitudes. It really gets at me. Anyhow, things you didn't want to know about the Rev. Next on the Squatchers Lounge podcast. All right, let's see who's hanging out here in the Squatchers Lounge live chat hangout. Well, of course, there's Miss Starshine. She's always our #1 super fan. Wilmus, that's right. He was our super fan co-host from last week. He's going to be doing a show of his own again in December, where he gets to pick his own topics out. And now, our left fielder, Mr. Kurt Harris. Fred Hepburn. Hey, are you ever going to tell us if you're related to Catherine or not, or can you dig that up? Because I really want to know. Catherine Hepburn was hot, dude. James the Grower. Yeah, dude, we're growing it here in California, right here in the living room, because Prop 64 is legal, baby. Mr. Dean Cooper's kicking somebody out. Bye, Barry. Oh, no, he just has to go. He was getting like a troll getting hung out. Hey, what happens when you get a severe cold?
Oh, I think I know.
You get a lot of kin on you. Excuse me. How you doing there, buddy? Glad you could join us. Oh, somebody must have told Dave Jackson that the show was on, because he's out there too. He had to head for the big screen. Later, Lounge. Glad you're hanging out with us. I think that's sounds like something I'd sing after I wake up from a really bad night. Yeah. Scooby-Doo. No, hey, glad you could join us. Oh, Lord. D-Lock's Green Bag. All right. Found some tracks of some hairs deep in the jungle of Borneo. That's a pretty cool place to find stuff like that. Mr. Fangs. It's not an SOS call, dude. I know we keep trying to make it an SOS call, but it's not. Let's see here. We're moving on up to the east side. Hey, Steve, right. Glad you could join us, man. I almost skipped right past you because you look so much like James the Grower, but you don't. But in my little eyeball world, you do. Let's see here. You guys got here early this week, boy, tearing up the chat room on me. I don't want to skip over anybody's name, but I'm going to kind of do a hop, skip, and a jump here because I'm not finding. Oh, there's Mike Connolly. How you doing there, man? Glad you could join us as well. Dude, a lot of good names are popping up on the screen this night. There we go. Moving on up to the east side to a deluxe apartment. Adrian Valadez. Adrian Valadez. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that's done. I'm sorry. I love my Hispanic people. They just dyslexic boy here. When there's a whole lot of A's and L's and stuff, it's tough being dyslexic in the world. The Life and Times of JCM. That's right, Mr. Jevin Moore, our Camper Tips for Stupids genius. Okay, who else is floating around out here? Because we're getting towards the top, which means there's see, that's the early people. Mr. Rod Dupree, he's always out there because he's in the place to be. Man, I want your garbage, dude. I want you to just like pack up a box of your garbage and send it to me. Just so I don't need nothing else. Just send me your garbage.
Not the used underwear, just garbage.
Wonderful things with your garbage, I promise. All right, so that's who's hanging out. Let's scroll back down to the bottom here. Make sure if you didn't leave a comment, I don't know you're here, so it's really not my fault if I can't say your name on the air. But let's see here. Yay, we didn't miss anybody, so that's perfect. Hey, bringing Cameron on for the Superfan Show. That's right. This is his portion of the show where we get down to it, man. Top 5 lists from Mr. Cameron Young. Now, this young man here, he's no joke. He has got to be the best Bigfoot historian I know of. Was that east of Willow Creek? Because Storyford, I can't. Storyford knows a whole lot about a whole lot about a whole lot. But this guy, if it came out of a book, this guy here knows it too. So we're talking top 5. We want to start out with Bigfoot hoaxers this week, right? We want to start out with hoaxers. All right, so
sure.
Okay. I gave Cameron the opportunity, so let's see what he's got for us here, Cameron. Start with your first top 5 list, buddy.
Okay, so for the top 5 worst hoaxers, this was pretty easy. I think Jeff would agree that it's pretty easy to figure out a top 5 list for these guys. But at number 5, I go with the original man himself, Ivan Marks.
Ivan Marks, number 5. Wow, dude, he's way down the list.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just the thing is, like, he didn't really do anything to really cause people harm. He didn't really like his movies and stuff. They're good for a laugh to watch.
Well, yeah, but
unless
that's
there's something I don't.
Well, no, I mean, Ivan Marks, number one, he groomed Tom Biscardi into the monster that he is.
Right.
So there's obviously some shenanigans going on somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the whole Cripplefoot thing, the whole movie about Cripplefoot migrating from California to Alaska.
Yeah, was.
But yeah, no, I mean, you're right though. That wasn't.
But didn't you think really before that he had something to do with that Cripplefoot footprint in Bossburg of '69? Do you think he had something to do with that?
No, that's the thing. He was the one that was first called in on it, but they were found by a butcher, and there was 1,000 tracks. And Ivan Marks, Ivan Marks wasn't going to fake 1,000 tracks.
No.
So he was the first one that was called, and they brought Cranston, and that was before the movie came out about.
That's
Cripplefoot.
right. That's right.
That was the first one that really kind of gave us the idea that Krantz was a nut job. So not Krantz, but Marks was a nut job.
All right. Well,
up until that point, they kind of thought that he was a good old boy as part of the program, but after that movie came out, not so much.
No, he was kicked out of the Bigfoot world quite quickly after that. So,
all right, well, let's go on. Number 4,
Melba Ketchum.
Melba Ketchup. Oh, dude, she's hoaxing. Hoaxing is definitely. I would say that's something that.
She's quite experienced in.
Well, she's definitely good at telling stories. Now, let me read something. Let me read something to you here for just a moment.
Here he goes.
Well, the first night was absolutely unbelievable. Even by the expedition's guide's expectations, the group traveled to their destination, and within minutes, there were sounds of what most of us could not identify as to any animal or thing was making the sounds. One person reported seeing what described as small red light within meters of the base camp's position. And several groups of 2 to 3 person teams that traveled to clear paths in the woods nearby the base camp to see what was roaming the woods. The group travels on ATVs and 4-wheelers, so it's easier to get through, and it scares most of the critters away. It's easier to identify sounds in the woods as to not make any sounds, especially if the deer and other small varmints are scared away and off by the sounds of people in the woods. Typically, most cute creatures depart the area only to leave the expedition attendees and visitors creeping through the woods. About an hour into it, just about everyone in the group reported seeing large, upright, man-like figures approaching from various directions. One small group was charged by an estimated distance of 10 to 12 feet by a bipedal and moved very quickly. It moved off to one side of the group and remained there for some time. Several other group members said that they could see heads and shoulders about 7 feet off the ground in some of the same spots as the sounds had stopped moving. 2 hours later, several small groups were attempting to find each other in a rather dense forest. One two-man team was charged again by something very large and bipedal. This time, it moved within feet of them and again moved off to the side and stopped. The night finished with an array of sounds, whoops, screams, and whistles. As everyone sound, the veteran expedition guides were unable to label as to what was making those sounds. The second night was just as impressive as the first, although there were no bluff charges, as some called it. And as the night was filled with audio sounds, both far and near, eye shine was highlight of the night, rock throwing, and something was hitting the top of an old well building nearby, causing some to jump from the bam as the rocks fell. We were lucky enough to see a small group of upright figures just yards away, moving about in the woods. Husband and wife team observed a very large figure with eye shine move away from them, estimated to be less than 15 to 20 yards away. I mean, wow, that sounds like an amazing Bigfoot adventure.
I know exactly what it sounds like, but I'm not going to say it on the air right now.
Well, yeah, until you find out that these are the $2,500 expeditions that Melba Ketchum has been selling on Facebook for some experienced guide in Oklahoma, whatever that means. So let me guess, you have some property out there and you use the ATVs and the side-by-sides, not to scare off all the animals, but to let your actors know you're coming.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And the other thing too is weird is like if you said the second night was just as good as not as good as the first, but yet you say, yeah, that's just confusing. So yeah, that's
then someone asked, is it dangerous? Can we take pictures? No, it's not dangerous, but no pictures or they'll all leave.
Okay.
So number
Red
4
flag.
was Melba Ketchum.
Pretty much. All right, well, we're getting into the top 3 here. So at number 3, from my home province, as embarrassing that is to say, Mr. Puppet Man himself, Todd Standing.
Todd Standing. I mean, come on, really? Yeah, I totally agree with you. The Puppet Master. I like the Michael Jackson one behind the. That was my favorite.
That's the most darkest Michael Jackson's ever been since he got transformed.
Oh, no lie, jeez. So yeah, Todd Standing comes in. He wants the Bigfoot world to follow him, and he wants to be the leader of the Bigfoot Protection Act. Bigfoot has to be protected.
Right.
Protected because there's no money in anything unless Bigfoot's being protected.
That's right. He actually debuted one of his first films in Edmonton, in my hometown. I didn't go and see it, but
for shame. You should have. I wish. Well, he debuted his last film in Seattle, and our friend Doug Hudson did go to see it with his wife. And it was laughable. Not just like bad, like laughable that anybody would believe such garbage from somebody as real.
Exactly. And he's always, sorry to cut you off, but he's always asking to watch, like if you try and watch a video, it'll play a little bit on his website, but then you got to pay like $10 or something to watch it. I wouldn't give that guy a wooden nickel for a plaster cast, even if I hit him in the head with it. In the words of Behinden,
Right, exactly.
But the thing is, he also just disappeared too. Like he won't say why he left the Bigfoot world. His Facebook page is gone. His Twitter's gone. His email, I can't reach him by email. I think after people started catching on, he took it as far as he could, and he knew he couldn't take it any farther because people would know it was fake.
Right, and the fact that Jeff Meldrum worked hand in hand with such a man long after the community knew a hoax, just for the money, just for the paycheck. Oh, I never really formed any opinions. Then you're retarded. I'm sorry. No, you're not retarded. You suffer from IDD, intelligent deficit disorder. Retarded is a bad word. I apologize. I didn't mean to put it that way. But yeah, for a doctor, you're awfully damn dumb.
Yes.
Anyhow,
and the thing is, that's what's in. Yeah, well, that's just it. That's when I first started back in. I was 7 years old. Mr. Meldrum just started a year before me, and so back then. He's even on if you go on YouTube and you look up Ray DeHinden's 1996 lecture, which I've sent you many times and we've gone over, you can see him just challenging DeHinden. DeHinden's like going, yeah, but this, and this. So back then you could consider him a real researcher, but now it's so his image is so tainted. That
and even back then when you watch his interaction with DeHinden, he's pushes a whole Cranch Gigantopithecus method, and it's proven out this far to still be untrue. And I say it's actually impossible. If there's a North American ape, it won't be related to a chimpanzee to an orangutan.
Right, to orangutan. Right.
It won't be related to an orangutan. It'll be related to a chimpanzee. It's well anyhow.
Yeah, that's a whole other topip. But anyways,
yeah, that's a whole other night of the things Jeff Meldrum was wrong about.
Ooh, I smell a top seller.
Dude, maybe I should write a book. The shit Dr. Meldrum got wrong by the Reverend Jeff Kelly. Oh God, that would be funny.
Hey, maybe Brian Sykes can write the foreword.
The foreword. If you want this to be Bigfoot, we can do that. Anyhow, I didn't say that. He said that, but
exactly. So at number 3, Todd standing. So moving on at number 2, Tricky Dicky Dyer.
Tricky Dicky Dyer. Oh boy, $100 bills. $100 bills. I'm gonna wipe my ass and rip my teeth.
Pretty much.
Anybody that gives that clown a penny deserves what they get at this point. I had a whole year and a half where we wouldn't even mention that dude's name. Because if somebody discovered Tricky Ricky Dyer because I mentioned him, I would feel horrible. But now you're on your own, because if you search the name Rick Dyer on Google, I've done anti-Rick Dyer comes up, and you're on your own at that point. Same thing that you can't claim like Meldrum did. Well, I didn't know Todd Stanton was a bad man. He told me he wasn't a bad man. Well, yeah, Rick Dyer will tell you he's not a bad man too, and he's got a habituation site right in one of the areas that I talked about when I revealed the Florida locations.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
another red flag.
Well, maybe he's taking on Melba's catch, Hey, we're going to come with the ATVs and we're going to blow whistles. That way it scares you off and we're coming. So when you hear the whistle, 3 times, that's when you put your Bigfoot heads on, because I know it's hot, okay? Ready? That's what I can see coming through for the Bigfoot habituation.
The first time I heard of Tricky Ricky Dyer, he had a film that came out, and I'm sure you've seen it, where apparently he's filming it from out his tent, and you can see the Bigfoot looking at him. And I got to admit,
yes, is the name of that movie.
Sorry, what was it called?
Shooting Bigfoot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, I got suckered in. I'll admit, I got suckered in. I was like, holy shit, that looks really good. But then as I looked into it and talked to you about it and other, Bindernagel and stuff like that, I got emails like from you and him right away saying, no, that's fake. And then as I looked at it, I'm like, that looks like a very familiar costume I've seen. So I pulled one of my DVDs, and it looked eerily similar to the costume from the movie. What was it? The Bigfoot, The Unforgettable Encounter. It almost looked like that sort of costume. Yes,
that was the kid from Pool Time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I put Rick Dyer in there as number 2.
The same kid that was the bad guy in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift in the beginning of it.
Never saw that one.
The stupid high school kid. Oh, anyhow, same little douche bag. Yeah, for sure. So all right, so we're at where are we now?
We're at number 1. Number 1, actually.
Number 1,
and it's
number 1 in the hoaxer list.
Tom Biscardi.
All right, Tom Biscardi. That was
pretty easy to write down. Like I had that. I was like, okay. Tom, Rick, Todd.
I definitely would put Tom right up there. I mean, he literally has had several businesses in the
Right.
business of making Bigfoot hoaxes. He bought the ice chest full of rubber suit and possum guts from Rick Dyer. He was the one that called the press conference after saying, "Oh, I touched it. It's real. I'm sure it's real. Come to California and I'll prove to you it's real. We have the real Bigfoot." You asshole. You fucking asshole. You dirty fucking asshole.
Right. I remember
Artie is a dirty fucking asshole. And I'm
Right.
glad you put him number one on the hoaxer list. Yay.
When
for
I'll give you, I was listening to the radio when it was about, I'd say 11:30 p.m. our time, and it just cut to breaking news. Bigfoot has been discovered. Well, I thought I was dreaming. At the time I had bunk beds, so I jumped out of bed so fast I hit my head on the top bunk, and I bust through my parents' door and going, "Dad, Dad, Dad! They discovered Bigfoot!" And he goes, "Just wait till the morning. Just wait." And then I go to school. I get up in the morning and I go on the internet, and it's all over the place. It's all over CNN. My dad comes home from getting the paper. It's on the front page of the Edmonton Journal, or somewhere early in there. And I look at the picture and go,
yeah,
just the jaw. Like I saw that and I'm like, those teeth look like the candy teeth I got for Halloween. Or they look like my grandmother's dentures if they were soaked in water for 24 hours.
I was out working. I was doing computer work at the time, so I had a bunch of work to do, and I'm listening to the talk radio guys talk about it all day long. And it's all two Georgia country boys discovered Bigfoot dead along. It was already dead, and they've got it in a freezer full of ice. Film at 11, whatever. So all day long I'm hearing this. All day long I'm hearing this. I finally get home. I'm like, all right, let me jump on Google here real quick. Google image search, Georgia, dead Bigfoot. Boom. Picture loads, because back then it was slow.
Yeah.
Picture loads up with this.
And you're sitting there like this going.
Exactly. Just trying to figure out what's going on. And then the teeth come in the mouth, on the tongue hanging out. I'm like, oh, look. Then I look at it, then it gets down like to the bottom of it where the feet and the guts and everything. I'm like, oh, look, they stuck possum guts in a rubber Bigfoot suit. Sad face. Closed it, went inside and had some dinner.
Yep.
I mean, that was just like, oh, that's just, sad.
Was so, I was honestly crushed. I think I actually cried. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was like, I phoned my buddy and I was like yelling him on the phone. I told my buddy Aaron, I'm like, they found him, they found that hairy bastard. And he's like, what? I'm like, they found Bigfoot. It's all over. And then same thing as my dad, just wait until the morning. And then sure, a couple days later, I remember watching the press conference on CNN, and I'm just like, I was hooked. Like I thought, man, this is it. Like I haven't even been doing this all my life, and it's already over. This is great. I can move on to something else. 2 days later, it's a fake. And the worst part about it was, I think one of them was a cop, was he not?
Yeah, well, he was an old. He was working for the correctional. He worked for the prison.
Oh, okay.
One of them. It might have even been Ricky that was working for the prison system, but he lost his job when all of that came through. And I remember when that happened, I thought to myself, well, good, you should lose your job for being a dumbass.
Right.
I mean, you want to pull a hoax across the entire country. Ha ha ha! Us stupid Bigfoot people. Well, there are consequences to being a dick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And finally, I did put, Tom Biscardi, number one. I did put down an honorable mention. This person didn't really do anything that major, but he was back in the 70s. Ray Pickens, if you remember that name.
Ray Pickens. Remind me of what Ray Pickens.
Remember, he was on that documentary. He was talking about, it was actually an old interview they did with the Hinden. I could probably send you the link. What he did was he was sitting at a cafe with his friend, and two Bigfoot researchers walk in and go, have you heard about it? What's going on? And he goes, well, I don't quite believe him. And then he goes, the two hunters, the two Bigfoot researchers goes, well, you hicks around here probably wouldn't, would you?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So he said,
put him some feet on.
That's right.
Running up through the forest, and them boys found themselves something to find.
Yes.
Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Yeah. I just thought, Yeah, it wasn't anything that's cost people money. He was just doing it out of fun. He even shows how he did it.
My honorable mention would have been Ray Wallace.
I did think about that.
And daddy of all hoaxers, the original hoaxer,
Right.
the original Bigfoot hoaxer being Ray Wallace. But no, your list was great, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Freaking fantastic. So we still got plenty of time left. We're going to get through it here. We're going to go on to a top 5 Bigfoot researchers in the mind of Mr. Cameron Young, Lord Cameron Young. That's right. His lordship.
Right. So number 5, I had an absolute battle with. Like, I was talking to people and going, God, this is just the hardest thing. So at number 5, it was a battle I originally had on Peter Byrne. But no, I'm going to give it to somebody that I actually got a chance to actually talk to before he possibly turned the bad corner, and that would belong to John Bindernagel at number 5.
John Bindernagel. Now, Bindernagel did not turn a bad corner. Bindernagel got Bindernagel got old and got himself allowed to be fooled. I don't think that he would have never worked with Todd Standing if Jeff Meldrum didn't say, "Hey John, I got this real good deal going on over here on this radio show. Why don't you come on over here and join us?" I'm sure that's how that all went down.
Okay. Because I really
and Survivor Man is for hire. Survivor Man is an entertainer. He is an actor. He is for hire. He might as well be a prostitute without the sex. I mean, the dude's for hire. He'll do anything for money. He proved it.
Yeah.
So, it's like that. I'm not saying the guy doesn't have mad survival skills. Not even saying the dude hasn't seen a Bigfoot or been around a Bigfoot. Right. I'm just saying he's got some really wacky shit out there, and he stands behind it. So, he stands behind it.
Right. Yeah. No, so I battled, and originally I had Peter Byrne in number 5, but I was like, he was one of my original 4 and one of my idols, but like I said, I personally got to talk to John. I emailed him a lot. I talked to him a few times. I've lost touch with him, unfortunately. I don't know if maybe he doesn't he's email anymore.
He's up there in age. I'm sure he's conversing less and less with the outside world, and
which is understandable. I mean, Dehinden did the same thing at the end. He was like, "To hell with this," So, anyways, number 5.
Screw all of you! I'm going home.
Pretty much. Roger Patterson.
Roger Patterson at number 4?
At number 4.
Yeah, I mean, dude was legit. I mean, back in the old timers, he would go anywhere, anytime that the Bigfoot came up, he was out there looking for it. Now, in their day, they were looking for a wild man.
Right.
They were looking for a animal skin wearing, club carrying, a wild man. Is what
like the one that we had the show about the Yukon. That's basically what they were looking for, really.
Right. And what they found, in the end was not a caveman.
No.
So unlike anything that any of them had even thought about it being. That's what, that's why I don't understand how these people are like, "Oh, Patty looked just like the drawing on the front of his picture on the front of his book." No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Doesn't look anything like, because they were both covered in hair. Ooh.
Right.
I mean, that's
the drawing has I wish I would have had time. I would have grabbed the drawing, but the head and the drawing is more like this, where the one in the film is a cone.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Patty was not dreamed up from anything Patterson had thought of before, other than the fact that it was a female, and that was the first female Bigfoot that we really even came across for that. So,
I've talked to. So number 4.
Number 4.
Like I said, I talked to Gimlin a couple of times, and he said, there was no way that thing was human. So it's looked human, but it wasn't human. So, anyways,
he ties on that neckerchief and shines up that tooth.
Exactly. The only reason I didn't put Patterson higher is, one, like, he was a researcher. He really was, but he was also a rodeo rider. He was an inventor. All his time on Bigfoot.
He was a carny.
And unfortunately, we did lose him too soon. Like, I really wish, like, cancer's a You bitch. Trust me,
Yeah,
I've had
cancer's a
it.
bitch, man.
And it's unfortunately that took his life so soon because, man, if he was alive today, I think we'd be very far in this process in finding. I think he would actually be a top two, actually, because I think, and at least he gave us the best gift of all, his film. Even if one day somebody comes out and says, okay, if Bob goes out one day and says, okay, I surrender, it's fake, it would be the absolute best fake ever.
Well, the way I look at it is with Bob being towards the end of his days, I'm not saying he's going to die tomorrow, but he's towards the end of his days. If it were a hoax, now would be the time for him to write a book.
Right.
It was a hoax and we fooled the world.
Right.
And make a shit ton of money before he dies.
Right.
And he's not doing that.
No.
He's literally going around to Bigfoot conferences that'll pay him $500 and give him a hotel room.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever he's making. You know, I don't know exactly what he's making, but my point being is he ain't making a lot. He's on Social Security and he's riding around to these Bigfoot conferences that'll give him a ticket so he can shine up that tooth and tie on that neckerchief and smile at the ladies. How you doing, girl? Come on in here and get a picture. Bob loves you.
So yeah, number 4, Roger Patterson. At number 3, Grover Krantz.
Grover Krantz. He doesn't know shit. Yeah, Krantz was a hard ass, but he never really went into the field, did he?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess there are expeditions where we see Krantz in the field, I guess, quite a bit. But he never went to Bluff Creek. Yeah. What do I know the guy called Bluff Creek for? I've seen the video. I don't need to go there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But to be truthful with you, I've been there, and I can tell you that the video tells you nothing.
That's right.
The video tells you absolutely nothing until you put your feet right there and understand where that creature came from, where that creature was going, and all of that is still there. And all of that land and the walkway, the pathway, everything is still identical that it was when she walked it in '67. And until you see how
I would
difficult,
love to go down there.
Told you, fly to Sacramento, we'll rent a car and we'll go. I forgot where I was going with that now, but it doesn't matter.
You were talking about the vegetation and how the land looks the same as it was filmed.
Well, yeah, it's just a matter till you see how hard it was even for them to get there on horseback back then.
Right.
Versus
exactly.
Other areas around there that you could drive right up to and people would believe that you saw a Bigfoot there too. There wasn't any reason to fake it that far into the wilderness.
Right. And even when Finding Bigfoot did their recreation, I don't even think that was the spot.
It wasn't the spot. They actually the spot wasn't actually refound until 2011.
Then why would
when Bobo was walking up the freeway there?
Why would Bob take him to there then and say, yeah, that's the one?
Well, because Bob didn't know exactly where the spot was either, because the vegetation hadn't been cleared out. No one had located the actual tree lines and everything, and it was the best of his guess. And they weren't far off. They were only like they were maybe 400 yards from the actual location. So they just hadn't gone far enough up the creek to actually be directly on top of the bed where he was. Bobo's walk through the bushes over there was completely bogus. I mean, that's not where Patty walked.
No.
But when Cliff used to go out there, Cliff had the spot almost identical, but he was looking at the active creek bed thinking that the old one had washed away, when in fact the creek has moved and it has left all of that in preservation. So anyhow, that's just a little bit of hardcore information. So Grover Krantz is at number 3.
Yes.
So screwed me out of number 3 yet. So let's see what else you got on there.
Okay, at number 2, Renee DeHinden at number 2.
There it is, the crazy Swede. He was a Swede. He Swiss?
He was actually Swiss.
He was Swiss. I always want to make him Swede, but that's right, he was Swiss. Swiss.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
They don't have any Bigfoot where I come from, so I come here. I hunt for your Bigfoot instead. Besides, poop to shoe.
Exactly. No, to me, man, DeHinden is my personal favorite, even though he didn't make number one. There is one more that has to be named higher than DeHinden, but we'll get to that in a sec.
Right.
But to me, he was serious, man. He was like, and he even would get mad at like the people that would make movies to make money off this thing. Like when the Mysterious Monsters came out in 76, 77, he was furious with how much money that it made, because to him it felt like they were making a mockery of what he was doing.
Yeah, but tough shit.
Well, yeah, exactly.
He was mad at everybody, though.
Yeah,
DeHinden really was not an easy man to get along with. And
No.
if you talk to any of the old timers that did deal with him, they all said the same thing. You know, he was a crotchety old bastard.
That's right. And the only one that really got along with them all was somebody I guess I should have put on this list, but damned I didn't. Was he's even from Alberta. Steenberg. Thomas Steenberg.
Yes.
Yeah. He got along with all of them, apparently.
Well, yeah, because he's Canadian. Y'all are hard to yell at.
Exactly. But so yeah.
Oh, just have a snooky cap and a Coke, don't you know?
Exactly.
It's okay.
Exactly, man.
Just
so yeah.
smile and shut the fuck up.
Exactly. But to me, DeHinden number 2, he is my favorite. When I first got into it, the first time I ever saw Rene DeHinden was on the Kokanee beer commercials, and I still have those. And
I've seen those on YouTube. Those are
they're
pretty
just
funny.
great. And then the second time I saw him was on Sasquatch Odyssey, and I was just hooked by that. Like Sasquatch Odyssey was the first time I ever saw all 4. And then as I got into it and watching more shows, I'm like, okay, here's Byrne, here's Cranston, da-da-da-da-da. So, so Rene DeHinden for me, number 2, bar none. He didn't give a rat's behind. He was going to find that thing. And honestly, if I was to put money on anybody out of the original 4, it would have been either the next person we're going to name or Rene DeHinden. That would be my 2 guesses.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, and the number 1 Bigfoot researcher, according to Cameron Young's top 5 list this week, is
John Green.
John Green. Yeah, dude. Nobody can beat John Green as far as, tipping the hat. He was everywhere. He was in everything. He just wanted the truth of it, and he did it all on his own dime.
Yep.
He drove everywhere. He walked everywhere.
DeHinden did it on his own dime too.
Well, Tom Slick paid for a lot of things. Tom Slick, Tom Slick definitely, he contributed quite a bit to the hunt for Sasquatch.
And I might as well just say it. Tom Slick was my honorable mention.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So, but going back to Green, you just can't put anyone else above him. You just can't. Well, I mean, but I got a long way to go.
Right. Well, you're going to be around a long time, so I'm sure by the time there are jackasses doing podcasts about us, you will definitely be up there with the greats. I am absolutely sure of it.
But yeah, John Green for me, Canadian. Like he started out as a newspaper reporter, and that's how he really got started. He was getting all these reports in the newspaper, and he's like, "Well, is anybody looking into this? Like seriously?" No, not really. Right. And then that's how basically he got started. So to me, John Green, number 1 overall.
I can totally agree with that. John Green, if it wasn't for John Green, I don't think we would be anywhere near as far as we are. His database is huge.
Oh, yeah, like his book. I heard his book, The Apes Among Us, is one of the highest selling Bigfoot books of all time.
And
I got 2 copies of it.
Right. Well, that's why, because most of us have read one so many times that we had to get a better copy of it so it wasn't in such bad shape.
I even have one of my old teachers had the On the Track Assassin. Remember those books? One was a red cover. And one was
I have all 3 of those.
Yes, I have, but mine are photocopied. My mom took them to her school, Xerox, everyone for me.
Cameron Young is admitting copyright fraud right here on the Squatchers Lounge podcast from the 70s. Wow. That's the 80s at least. I got
it came out about the 70s. It was 70s.
The books were out from the 70s. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had gotten my copies, of course, from Bigfoot Books in Willow Creek. I don't know
Right.
why I'm advertising for that guy, but he does have a lot of cool
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
He can get you stuff, and his copies are really nice.
Yeah.
So I'll give him a little bit of airtime and say, yeah, Bigfoot Books in Willow Creek.
Yeah.
If you're looking for
that's where I've
Bigfoot
gotten
stuff,
some of my stuff. So yeah.
he's probably got a bunch of stuff. So yeah. So let's get to talking about your honorable mention there, Tom Slick.
Slick. Yeah.
Tom was a wealthy man, and it wasn't just Bigfoot that he went after. He also funded. He funded searches into mermaids, into the Loch Ness monster.
I think he did something with some giant thing in the jungles or whatever, like a dinosaur type thing.
Yeah, he was looking. They were looking for dinosaurs in the Congo. They were looking for pterodactyls in Arizona. I mean, he really was that kind of guy that had the kind of expendable income that he could blow on that kind of stuff.
Because I believe he was a finance minister or something like that, or an oilman or whatever like that.
But then when he finally passed, all of that stuff just kind of came to a great big screaming halt.
And that's just it. Could you imagine? We need somebody like that nowadays, because that would help the community majorly.
We had somebody like that, and he funded Melba Ketchum for nearly $750,000 that she took advantage of. So yeah, we call him Uncle Wally. He doesn't like to really be known out in the community, but he was funding a lot of things at that time and spent a few $1 million in the Bigfoot world recently in the 2000s, in the millennials, and definitely did not get what he paid for.
No,
let's just put it that way.
Right.
But dude, yeah, this has been a fantastic show. I love your top 5 list, man. That's absolutely great, with a little honorable mention for sure. You want to tell the folks, we're going to get it wrapped up here. What got you, what originally got you into Bigfooting?
Okay, well, I'll make it short. I was 7 years old. I remember having dinner, and my dad, who's now passed, was just, I don't know what started the conversation, got talking about it. I think we were, and he told me about this big hairy monster that lives in BC, and they call him Sasquatch and Bigfoot. And then he said, oh yeah, if you go into I was in elementary, I was in grade 1. I was a 7-year-old boy. So next day, and hey, you got any books or stuff on Bigfoot? Oh yeah, all up there. And I grabbed every one of those and I just started reading. And then I was hooked. And then I started watching the TV shows and started, back then I remember being at my mom's school, just researching it. I would make poster boards of putting, Bigfoot pictures on there and everything like that. And I was bit. I was bit by the bug, and it's fun. I mean, it's something I don't really tell a lot of people, and it's not that I know it's nothing to be embarrassed about, but I am careful with it, but
I'm just the opposite with that. I tell everybody I ain't afraid of it. I call me the Bigfoot. It's okay. I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be the one that brings you the information when it really gets found. I'm going to know what to do with it when it really gets found. So call me the nut job. Everybody will be coming and asking me about it when it's real. When we finally have one on the slab, they'll be coming to people like me going, oh, dude, looks like you were right. It's like, yeah,
exactly. And that's another thing why I like to do it, because if this thing's finally proven to be real, man, that is going to be the ultimate win. It really would be. So that's how I got into it, basically, and I just
Boys, what the same squamch? It could be. They don't exist, Bubbles. Julian, you try telling that to all the people that got eaten by the dirty bastards.
That's right. Oh my God, boys.
Oh my God, boys. We are officially dealing with a fucking Sam Squamch.
That's right. If anybody, you need a pair of glasses, man, you could definitely do use some Bubbles impression. That is for sure. Well, everybody, I want to thank you guys for watching the super fan edition of the Squatchers Lounge podcast with our special guest, Mr. Cameron Young, and his top 5 list. His top 5 list will be joining us again real soon in a special announcement as the new season is coming up. That's right. The season of encounters is coming. Ooh, you almost had it. Ooh. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, Monday nights are Bigfoot Entertainment Weekly, and Bigfoot Campfire Stories are being released as I get them finished. So, thanks for watching. And may the Squatch be with you.
Thanks a lot, Jeff, for having me on. That was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you being here with me. Hey, boys, it's your Shab Squatch.
Ricky, Julian, get that big hairy cocksucker away from me.
Bubbles, there's no such thing as Sasquatch.
Shut up, Julian. I'm going to go back to my shed and play with my kitties.